13. Now the feature at Doomben. Good race, this one. This is the Victory Stakes, Group 2. Weight for age over 1,200 and buffering. What a fellow this guy is by Mossman for Rob Heathcote. It's won a barrier trial back on the 12th of March. Has had a let-up. First run since finishing 8th in the Patnack at Flemington last spring behind Mental. Ready.
Buffering, normally a brilliant beginner. They're off and racing now, and Buffering was the first to go. He came out of the gates and found the lead, and Listen Sun's going to go and try and put some pressure on him in the early part. Ready to Ripple, drop on those two in third position, followed by Spirit of Boom, Elbreck and Temple of Boom, and Starts Me Up as last of all. Well, Listen Sun's carving it up to Buffering, and they're hiking around the first corner. 800 metres to go. They're two to Spirit of Boom, who's sitting there third the outside, ready to rip on the fence. They're giving this favourite no favours here. 5 lengths away is Elbreck and 2 Temple of Boom. Wonder Starts Me Up. They're at the 600 metres mark. Buffering on the inside and Listen Sun. They're 2 lengths to Ready to Rip and Spirit of Boom. They'll have their chance to get at this favourite in a minute. 4 lengths away, Elbreck as they come around the bend, followed by Temple of Boom. Starts Me Up. Buffering drop Listen Sun at the corner, but no sooner had he done so, and Spirit of Boom appears on the scene. They're followed by Ready to Rip and Elbreck running on, but Buffering slipped away at the 200 metres mark. He's put up 2.5 Spirit of Boom. They're followed then by Ready to Rip. Elbreck running home, but Buffering, oh, he's got class on his side. He's home, and Buffering raced away and has won from Spirit of Boom and Elbreck, a good run third. The next time in the race there was Listen Son. He just kept going, followed by Starts Me Up. Next to last, Ready to Rip. And last time in the race was Temple of Boom. Oh, he's a horse, isn't he?
For me, yellow that Platelet has. And you can see them both on screen now. So that's Platelet in the background and Just Discreet in the foreground. And they're about to come up. Gee, it's short enough, Snitzerland. $1.55. The bookies went up. I know fixed odds yesterday, it was $1.70. It's the class filly, 2,000 metres. This is a very attractive filly, this one. They're offhand racing now. And beginning very nicely out wide on the track was Platelet out fast. Also Classy Chloe. Snitzerland is going forward towards the lead. And Avoid Lightning's kicking up on her inside. I'll stay on the leading pair, and Snitzerland goes to the front now. From Avoid Lightning in third spot was Light Express from Classy Chloe. Then came, behind those was Angelic Light in about fifth spot by the 800 metre mark. Further back in the field came Platelet, then came Alta. From Just Discreet, Cal Grinder's a long way back from Shamal Wind. Yosei's on the rails. And last of all is Kunamu on the home turn. 600 metres to go in the Sangster. And the leader is the Hot Pot. It is Snitzerland by a half length on Avoid Lightning. Classy Chloe, 3 out. Light Express is going well behind the leader. Then came Angelic Light, followed by Platelet. Further back to Cal Grinder, Just Discreet. Altar between runners from Shamal Wind in the straight. Brown lets the favourite down. Snitzerland. Avoid Lightning won't go away. Here comes Platelet down the outside. Snitzerland, she's gone, and Platelet hit the lead from Avoid Lightning. Angelic Light, Calgrinda runs on, then came Alto, and getting out late Yosei, it's Platelet. Platelet takes the Sangster by a half length. Angelic Light flew for second, a horse of the future. Yosei flying for third. Photo fourth, Alta, Calgrinda, Avoid Lightning, Just Discreet, and Snitzerland. She was gone at the 200 when she wanted to lay in. Followed in by Light Express, Classy Chloe, Kunamu towards the end with Shamal Wind.
Brilliant win to Platelet. Darren Weir place. Now it's a Group 1 winner. Well done to Darren Weir. Australian Thoroughbred Bloodstock with their horse there. Platelet, Benny Mellon doing the job. Yosei very good there, so, but I think the story, well, it's a great story for the connections of the winner, no doubt. But Snitzerland, you cannot believe it's the same horse who won here in Sydney, won the Galaxy, won the Challenge, and ran so on the Galaxy when Bell Sprint and all. It just was too bad to be true.
Went awful. He had a nice easy time. Corey just clipped her up to cross the others. She travelled sweet.
She did have a hard run in the Galaxy, though, didn't she?
And that's the only way you can look back now and say, hang on, that may have taken because she was disappointing yesterday.
I thought she'd win, but
we're out going to Brisbane for the BTC Capital. Come down to the weight she's given in the Goodwood, and Snitzerland dropped out over the concluding stages. Gerald Ryan told me this morning maybe that first up run where she was really forward took the edge off her yesterday. She'll probably go for a spell. It's not definite, but Gerald favouring a spell now with her missing the Goodwood.
Right, the Australasian Oaks was race 6 over 2,000 metres. Very open betting race. The equal favourites here were Alzora and Molto Benet at $5.
On the home turn, 400 metres to go in the Australasian Oaks, and Maybe Discreet went to the lead. Transonic's gone. In turn, Granddaughter runs on. It's Maybe Discreet from Granddaughter. Alzora's in the clear, making ground. Then came Aurora Lights down the outside. La Zuma from the back, and then First Bloom, but it's Maybe Discreet. Maybe Discreet is clear over the final stages. Leads by 2. 3 lengths, a big win for Tanura and Stokes. Maybe Discreet. Maybe Discreet scored by 2.5. Could go second. Might be La Zuma. A nose to Granddaughter. They're the 2.
No, this is terrific to get my first Group 1 here, particularly for Philip Stokes, who's been a long supporter of mine and entrusted me with the ride on this horse. I was thrilled. Beat me, want to be good to beat him.
Dominic Tenor riding his first Group 1 winner. Well done. Good effort too from Barrier 14.
Terrific ride. He got her across into a on-pace position, settled her, moved at the right time, and certainly the blinkers back on certainly worked with her, and she did a terrific job. She's a good filly. There's no doubt about it. And 2 favourites I thought were pretty well disappointing there.
Accepted the Group 1 with gusto every single time. However, that's not Group 1 racing. I got to tell you, and it hasn't been for a while, that Australasian Oaks. And if you're going to keep the integrity of the Group 1 system, you can't do it, on state politics. It's got to be done on quality. And I'm sorry, that race just doesn't add up to it. The mares race, thanks to this year, probably wasn't Group 1 standard, but has been in recent years. So you've got to cut them a little bit of leeway. But it's been a long time since I think that Australasian Oaks has been a Group 1 standard field.
For all our Adelaide viewers, it's Richard's now on Twitter at Richard.
I'm not trying to, give them a kicking. It's if you're going to have Group 1 racing, you're going to keep the integrity of that brand. You've got to make sure that the races are worthy of it year in, year out.
You may recall 1, 6 and 11. If you picked it, Super Tab, $720.80. Cats bet $851. On the catapulted, looks like it's getting a bit of a gear adjustment. I don't know where
them go. And that was a good start. Rizes was out fast on the inside. Akanar began fast with Shell Scrape. Away nicely, Rescue Mission Conservatorium's prominent from Secret Flyer. Then Rizis along the inside from Caricatus, Esprit de Bullet, getting back to Hidden Value. Then came out wide on the track there, one of the favourites, and that's Catapulted, has only a couple behind, including Honey Flower, this well-tried favourite. Then Meadows Jim towards the end with General Truce. Akanar, the 200 to 1 outsider at the 500, a length and a half. Shell Scrape. In third place, down on the fence, is Rescue Mission from Caricatus Conservatorium. Just ahead of that runner and looming large around the outside, Hidden Value from Esprit de Bullet. Riz is. Where's the favourite? Catapulted. It's still last at the 250-metre mark. And now the leader is Rescue Mission, goes to the front. Honey Flowers come through on the inside. Deeper Caricatus from Riz is Conservatorium. General Truce is absolutely flying down the outside. General Truce, Caricatus, they fat it out. General Truce, last to first, huge win. Won by a neck. Second, Caricatus, and third, Honey Flower from Rescue Mission. Conservatorium, Rizes. Then Meadows Jim, followed in by Hidden Value.
Racing.
Feature race Group 2 Hollandale Stakes. Runners are just sitting out behind the gates there. Lights of Heaven. $2.80 the tote, and that's exactly what you're getting on course for this wonderful mare who was 4th in this last year. She went on, she won the Brisbane Cup. She's coming off.
Lucky Luna and Light of the Night were the first 2 to go. They came out together. Gingadood began okay, followed by Hour of Peril on the fence. Now out wide on the track, Lights of Heaven's going forward with Transporter, Souls, and it's not far away. They're followed by Ace. Lamasery now about to peel around him, followed by Hour of Peril. No Luck for Teller out deep. They're followed by Sane and Costa, and Danley is last of all. Gingadood greets the 600 metres, 3 parts the Transporter, Light in the Night third, Lights of Heaven fourth, and now Lamasery is moving up on the outside. Solzhenitsyn back and behind them, and they're followed by 4 Teller as they come around the bend, and Danley's trying to pick up ground. Gingadood led from Transporter at the 300. Light in the Night's going to scoot up along the fence, followed then by Lights of Heaven. Solzhenitsyn getting in the clear. Lamasery down the outside to the 200. Gingadood the leader. Light in the Night, Transporter, Lights of Heaven, Lamasery. They're all over the shop here. Light in the Night and Transporter and Lights of Heaven is absolutely motoring home. It'll get up Lights of Heaven. run. Wins from either Transporter, Fortella, a big run. Light in the Night and Lamassery not far away. Danley on their tail. Salsa Nitson behind them. They're followed by Gingadood. Hour of Perils a long way back on the field, followed by Saint and Costa, and last time was Lucky Luna.
Well, she did it. The mare Lights of Heaven, another stakes race for her. The Group 2 Hollandale Stakes, and heading on, of course, for the Brisbane Cup that she won last year after running in this race. Forteller, him jumping out of the ground, whether he's in the mix there.
That'll against Damien Lane for on Formidable. So 394
in Queensland at this time of year. As Pete said, she ran second in the Hollandale and second in the Doomben Cup last year, but she won the Eagle Farm Cup and she won the Brisbane Cup, so she loves it up there.
It's rated this mare perfectly. These are the Group 1s she can win. And that race yesterday was bristling with Group 1 winners and Group 1 placed horses. It was a worthy Group 1 event.
It's a Group 2.
And it's a Group 2. So, you know, there's one that could go up in the world. It's building. You need to look over a period of time, but it certainly was a good field. She certainly went well. She beautifully placed. There are a couple of other runs here. I can't wait for them to get to a bigger track. Fortella is probably one of those. Lamassery was another one. He'll improve with a run. I think a pretty strong race, Ron.
Strong race, and I don't usually like bunch finishes because I don't like the format of bunch finishes. But this is a different case altogether because this was tempo related. They went very, very slow early, mid race, so it made it nearly impossible for the better horses out the back. They finished off well. You can assess the race as you like. Everyone's got an opinion of that race. I thought Fortella was wide, no cover, and he did a great job. But look, he had the form coming out of the Randvet and the BMW, so he should run well in a race like that. Lamassery was only second up, so maybe he's got more to offer fitness-wise. You know, Dan Lee was so brave again. He's racing in terrific form. And this
Cross Pins of Pele. So Pins of Pele, Molto Bene, gold medals at a line of 4 with the Ginger Boy up there. Then came Escardo from Shoreham. Kuldini's trapped a little wide out of the straight at the 2,000 metre mark where it's Pins of Pele, 2.5 Ginger Boy. High Octane showing the whip sticks to the inside. On the turn, and Molto Bene's got up on the fence to hit the lead now. The only filly in the race, Molto Bene, goes for home from Ginger Boy. Havastan is wider out. Deeper Bell Thor. Here comes Shoreham right around the outside. Escardo gets a rails run, and High Octane working up behind those in company with Gerontius. Molto Bene is grabbed by Escardo at the 200 metre mark. Gerontius, Shoreham out wide. Havastan's gone. It's Escardo in front of Molto Bene. Then Gerontius, Shoreham coming down the outside. It's still Escardo, the leader. Escardo's hanging on, and Escardo won the Derby by 2 lengths. Photo second might be High Octane from Shoreham. They're very wide apart. Then Gerontius like a carousel from Packing Empire. Kuldini, he's not the Messiah. McNulty, Molto Bene I may have mentioned. Further back in the field there to Ginger Boy from Gold Medals. Havastan pulling up quickly over the line, and finishing back with it was Bell Thor and Pins of Pele.
So Escardo, after being beaten on the Geelong synthetic track at its last start in a benchmark 72, comes out and wins the South Australian Derby, Group 1. $12.50 and $3.40. Good luck.
His first Group 1 there with Escardo. And Ben Mellum, he won the Sangster Stakes there last week on platelets, so he's in terrific form himself. Good staying performance, Escardo.
It certainly was, and Ben, I think he won the Western Australian Derby too this season. But look, Escardo, that was a lovely ride by Mellum. He just put him to sleep on the rails, you know, evenly graded field there. It was the difference between winning and losing. He just travelled well all the way. He saved all the ground, and he was too good. Look, you don't know what his form was really up to scratch coming into that race, but he was well backed. He went up 50 to 1 on Wednesday, and by jump time he was 12 to 1. So a lot of people thought he could win. Look, the second horse, High Octane, had too much to do. He was dragged back from the wide barrier. Obviously, he saved ground also, and
Cluster, and we're going to hear from Hugh Bowman in a few moments' time, came up with...
Very excited for Matt Laurie. It's a great
trainer.
It's a great thing to win your first Group 1 race, and Ben Mellum keeps doing the job, and I'm sure the connections are extremely excited, as they should be. That wasn't a Group 1 field. That's not Matt Laurie's fault. It's not the connections of the winner's fault. It's not the club's fault. The club can only put on the race. And
it was good prize money.
Great prize money, okay. But it's a statement of fact. That's not a Group 1 field. And you know what? That race hasn't been a Group 1 race for quite some time, and I've been annoying people on Twitter, and they, you know, I get a little bit frustrated with the victim mentality of some of the smaller states saying, "Oh, you're just picking on the smaller states." It's not about whose state it is; it's about a certain standard. I would like to be playing for the Rugby League Kangaroos, but you know what? I don't have the ability or the courage or the size.
But I'm not blaming someone else for that. Right? That's just a fact of life. You know,
Yeah.
and this constant thing that's victimising smaller states. If you want to play with the big boys, you've got to lift your standard. That's just the way of the world.
The only thing I'd say to that is that those local trainers and jockeys, for that matter, that are there week in, they keep racing going and week in, week out. Don't they deserve a couple of Group 1s in their home state? Should they really have to go to Randwick and Flemington to be a part of the Group 1 action?
I have no problem with them having Group 1s in their own states, provided they are Group 1 standard. It is not a charity racing. It is a business and it's a hard one. And it's not a charity event where we have to put on charity for people in small states. If they want to play in the big pool, if you want to swim with the big fish, swim.
I remember, they had Sub-Zeros.
Well, that's 20 years ago.
Mummify?
Mummify won it in 2003. He was probably the last good horse to do it. Let me give you the winners of the last 10 of these.
You've come geared up with them before.
Last year, Zabilionaire, Shadows in the Sun the year before. Before that, Kidnapped, Rebel Raider, Zarita, wasn't a bad mare, Laser Sharp, Testifiable, Tales of Triumph, then you get to Mummify.
Each year is an individual year. Some years there'll be strong years, some years there'll be bad years. But look, only time will tell how bad this year was or how good it was.
It might go on to be a very good horse, but on yesterday, wasn't a Group 1 race.
Is there any?
They stand beautifully and he lets them go in the Goodwood. And that was a good start with ZI Knight showing out on the inside with Platelet Away Will. Showing speed of Methon and coming over from out wide as Alter, and so too Conservatorium. Then Justify That from Riziz, followed by Facile Tigre. Then Moment of Change, who's midfield on the rails. With it was Caracatus from Meadows Jim. Further back to Galar, 3 lengths away, Outlandish Lad. Yose's a long way back. He's second last. Over on the inside of Paturbo, coming up towards the 600-metre mark. And crossing and leading from the outside gate now, it is Alter, the leader from Conservatorium. In third spot, Justify That. On the fence was ZI Knight from Meadows Jim. Then came in the centre was a Methon. Further back to Platelet. Moment of Change. Needs a run. It's buried on the fence. Then Facile Tigre. Followed out wide by Galar. Putting in a run. And then Riziz heads the others. And Yose's nowhere at the 250-metre mark. It's still Alter. Conservatorium's running a race, the old boy. To the outside, coming on now is Platelet from a mile back. It's running on strongly. Conservatorium, Alter, here comes Platelet. Platelet over the top is flying. Caracatus on the fence. Platelet beat Conservatorium. He ran out of his skin for second. Third placing, I reckon, was Alter just over Caracatus. It was a barnstorming finish for some, but never in at Moment of Change. Riziz was next. Yose charging up behind them. Then came ZI Knight, followed in by a Methon. Further back to General Truce. Then came Galar from Facile Tigre, never a possibility. Followed in by Justify That, Outlandish Lad towards the end with Meadows Jim as they pull up quickly after the line. Platelet's done it again. Well, we're not going to put this horse in the same breath as the great mare, but this particular mare has done what she did last year. She's won a Sangster and now a Goodwood. Platelet, number 2. Ben Millam for Darren Weir.
At the moment, and no stopping Platelet. This mare's won 2 Group 1 races in the last fortnight. That's following on, of course, from the Sangster. The same double, Ron, that Black Caviar won.
Wow. Now, there isn't she in a purple patch of form. A couple of Group 1s in a row, and one stage there she was struggling around Moonee Valley of a Friday night. But look, she's obviously a very good mare, good sprinting mare. You don't win two Group 1s by fluke. And she's come with that paralysing sprint that we know that she's got. Second and third were always on pace. It's a bunch finish. Moment of Change, the damage was done at the start when he missed the kick and didn't hold his position, and then they slowed up front. So maybe little excuses there. But a hard race to assess. Is that a Group 1 race, Richard?
Well, yeah, I'm quite happy for the Goodwood to be a Group 1. It's in the last 5 years, it's attracted some very good horses to go there and win that, And I know it's not an endorsement of history is not a great endorsement of it, but they were in good form when they went there too. So some good good horses have won. Yeah, I'm happy for it to stay a Group 1, but if you'd said to me the Platelet would be a dual Group 1 winner 6 months ago, I'd have taken your temperature.
Yeah. Well, obviously you hit a raw nerve with your comments last week. Did you hear Hilton before the race?
Made understandably annoyed, but as I said, it's not a charity. You don't just give Group 1 ratings to whoever wants them just because they haven't got enough of them.
Here's Hilton before they were moving into the barrier.
And we'll be ready for the Goodwood, one of our 4 Group 1s in South Australia. Long live the Group 1s in SA.
He loves South Australian racing. He'll defend it all day.
Of course he will. And look, there are all sorts of vested interests to defend those sorts of things. That's always the case in racing. But look, it would, if it attracts another 3 or 4 years of fields of that standard, then it will be under threat. I mean, it should be. But if it gets good horses going back there, well, all well and good, no problem.
Set to go. Stand by for a start. Tactics will be interesting with Survived. He normally gets out the back. They're ready and they're racing. He jumped okay, Survived, but he's going to go back. He's going to settle second or third last. Hawkspur was the first to go. Nagura Burr began okay. Rowie going along the fence. New Spur, Stew Boy, and Yosemite White are out. Heater and Smiles for Layla tucking in for a tracking into the race at the right time, followed by Rowie. Survived is next as they come up towards the 600, followed by Smiles for Layla. Then Tona Parr and Lucky's back second last, and last is Excellent Al. They're on the turn in the Rough Habit, and Nagura Burr just the leader, but Hawkspur got a split quickly from Rowie. Stew Boy, Heater. Usanity's coming to the outside, and Survived is looking for the way out, but Hawkspur dashed away. 300 metres to go. He's out by 3. Lucky. Rowie next. Usanity Survived down the outside, but Hawkspur is well clear with 100 metres left to go. Rowie's making up a lot of ground in second spot, but Hawkspur is clear with 100 metres left to go, and he's home, Hawkspur. Hawkspur went home. Survived, rattled down the outside late and got second. Usanity third, and Rowie over near the inside, weakened to run fourth. A gap to Lucky. Smiles for Layla, followed by Tona Parr, Excellent Alan Heater. Spurs a long way back on the field, and they're followed by Nagura. Hawkspur, Jimmy Cassidy for Chris Waller. Up on.
Quite a day for Chris Waller. Hawkspur, lovely ride by Jim Cassidy there. The 2 Kiwi horses Survived and New Sanity were in the placings, and that, of course, Richard, is an important lead up towards the Derby.
Indeed it is, and the wet track throws a little bit of a cloud over it, so to speak. Bad pun, but there you go. Survived. Now, Stewards did inquire into the ride by Riddell and just said, why did you go to the inside of Hugh Bowman instead of coming around him? It seemed the logical thing to do. You went back inside and hit a traffic jam. So,
well, they're entitled to ask the question. Have a look at this. He's got every opportunity in the world, and the black hat there coming. Well, now he goes back to the inside of Insanity.
Light blue jacket, black sleeves, black cap.
Yeah, I'd hate to say the word lead up to the Derby, but look, fair income. If you took the even money this horse, you wanted to be on your bike on the point of the turn there because this leader was out of his sight.
Well, Jason Riddell actually accepted that the stewards, their criticism was valid and that he did make a mistake, and they accepted that he'd made a mistake, and that perhaps if he'd have gone straight to the outside, he might have troubled the winner. He had a fair bit of ground to make up. I mean, there was a good 3 lengths there, maybe more between him and the winner, but he looked like the run of the race anyway.
Look, I'm not saying he would have won 800-metre run on this horse. Each race, it should be treated on its merits. In saying that, now this winner's been set for this carnival. Last preparation, this horse had won 4th up, 5th up and 6th up from a spell. Yesterday with his 4th up run, and he won for his first time this prep. He'll hold that form, he'll improve on that form, and he's the horse to beat in the Derby. The winner, Hawkspur, more so than Survived. He's probably...
They stand well. Stay ready. Racing now. No, Buffering didn't jump. He didn't jump. He came out second last. Rain Affair pinged the gates and went straight to the lead. Sea Siren began brilliantly. Temple of Boomers going quickly, and Your Song's not far away. And now Buffering's got to get on his bike. He's going to be 3 deep around the top corner. He's in 5th position. They're followed then by Reflectance, Emmeline, Rarefied, Spirit of Boom a long way back with Jet Set Lad, and Better Than Ready as last. Rain Affair, he's out in his own of the 700s. 2 to Temple of Boom trying to sit on his wheel. Your Song's in the middle. Sea Sirens on the fence, and Buffering back in 5th position. He'll be the widest runner when they greet the corner. A Gap Reflectance followed then by Better Than Ready picking up ground. Then Jet Set Lad, Emmeline followed by Spirit of Boom and Rarefied. Rain Affair came round the bend. It's the wet track specialist. He's 2.5 clear. Your Song is going after him in 2nd position. 3 lengths away. Buffering followed by Sea Siren. But here's Your Song at the 200 metres mark. Your Song raced the Rain Affair and he put him away. 3 lengths away. Buffering, Better Than Ready, sing home well, but Your Song's dashed away. Oh, it's a blitz. It's an absolute blitz. Your Song, 4 lengths Rain Affair, and Your Song will win by almost 5 to Rain Affair. Better Than Ready will be 3rd, a good run. Buffering 4th. The start finished him. Behind those then came Jet Set Lad. They're followed by Reflectance. The next game was Spirit of Boom, and then came Rarefied, Emmeline, Sea Siren hit the brick walls, run a long way back, and Temple of Boom is last. Your Song is the winner. Peter Rabel and Anthony Cummings. Well, I'm not surprised he won, but I tell you what, I am surprised. I'm surprised how quickly he got to Rain Affair and dropped him. That's what I am surprised about, away from Your Song. This was a win and a half. A magnificent looking colt he is. He's by fast, that Rock. Gee, what a surprise, eh?
The wet track. Lopsell all rubbing their hands together with Rain Affair. We were quietly just getting more confident as the rain came.
Just flying under the radar. I don't know that flying under the radar. I don't know that I've seen a better style of horse than this fellow in a long, long time.
He's a beautiful animal, beautiful attitude. He's just been A1 from the...
Much point, sort of bleating. Yeah. Got the right horse, and when you can see in the parade, I mean, he's just a standout horse. Yeah. So got the right horse, he's fit, ready to go the race. Let's see what happens.
Your Song for Guri. Anthony also trained Smart Missile for Guri, so he's had a couple of nice horses for them. Richard, this is a very promising 3-year-old. That was only his 7th start in a race.
Yeah, he's a beauty. He's a good-looking horse, and did you see him coming back to scale on the long rein? He's got, appears to have the good attitude, and he's by the right stallion. He's getting all the ticks, this horse, and this was a blinding win here. He just sat behind the pace, and I thought when they straightened up Rain Affair, being a wet tracker and getting his own way in front, would just kick and kick hard. But this horse gobbled him up in 3 strides and then raced away. All I can say is, I don't want to take anything away from this horse's win, because this is really, really good. You'd be very excited if you owned him or trained him or anything to do with him. But you have to start questioning the older horses in this country. It's not just because this horse has won. It's because so many 3-year-olds cleaned up the older horses at every distance. And it's unlikely that 10 3-year-olds are the best horses we've seen in 10 years. And you just got to start to think that maybe the older ones are a pretty ordinary bunch.
Have to agree. And if I can just give me a minute, and I can tell you, there has been 10 3-year-olds that have beat the older horses in Group 1s this year. And, and it started with 5.5 star in the BMW, Super Cool in the Australian Cup, Piero, the Canterbury Stakes and the Ryder, All Too Hard, the Ore, Futurity, all aged. Sacred Falls won the Doncaster. In fact, the 3-year-olds trifected the Doncaster mile. Sham Express won the Newmarket, and now we've got Your Song. There's 10.
Well, it's exciting, isn't it, that they're coming through the ranks, as long as they don't get bundled off to start too quickly.
Where's this horse going to end up? Is he going to end up at stud as well? He's a very attractive horse. He's well bred. He's a Group 1 winner at Weight for Age. Are we going to see much more of him after winter, or maybe we'll see him in the spring and maybe next year for him? But he's a very attractive proposition for breeders as well.
And about 4th or 5th, but by the time he got to the home turn, he was running 2nd. The thing about his win yesterday, Your Song, is that Rain Affair at his previous start took All Too Hard all the length of the Randwick Straight to get him down. And All Too Hard got Rain Affair down in the last, 20 metres of the race. Come here yesterday, Rain Affair's just a noted wet tracker. He highballed along in the lead all on his own. Nothing worried him. And this horse absolutely tailed him. And if Rain Affair had come off a run that was only average the one before, he'd probably start querying the horse's form. But this horse has always had good form. In fact, if you go back through his...
And he won't be available in the 10,000, so I think there'll be a few jockey managers on the chase now with Anthony Cummings. Certainly the 10,000 and the Stradbroke. Rain Affair certainly has come through okay at this stage, goes to the 10,000. Better than ready. The big question mark for Callie Sweeter is whether the horse will in fact get inside the field. He's concerned by it. It's about number 40 in the order of entry. It goes by prize money, so he's going to have to rely on a lot of horses dropping out.
Here between a couple of informed gallopers, Fortella, one of those follows the toe. Lights of Heaven, 4.10, Manigar in the market, $7, and Lemissary at $9.30. Rich?
Yeah, down the board quickly on the fluctuate.
Off and racing now, beaten up near the inside. One of the first to go, and Hippopus began well. So too did Lights of Heaven. Now Manigar and Fibrillation are both going forward. Zarella and Fortella just tucking in behind them. Then Billionaire followed by Dan Lee, Secret Admirer. Pim's Time getting back from Light in the Night, and Lammersley went to the tail of the field. Out of the straight, 1,700 metres left to go. And Fibrillation on the inside, a narrow leader from Manigar. Zarella 3 deep to the turn out of the... And Lammersley last of all. Inside the 800 metres mark in Zarella. By 1 length, the Hippopus in second spot. Manigar third the outside. Fibrillation fourth on the rail. 2 lengths away, Lights of Heaven. She's coming into the race now. They're followed then by Beaten Up's a Billionaire. Fortella's on his bike now, followed by Dan Lee. And then Secret Admirer, Pim's Time, Light of the Night. And Lammersley last of all. Here's Manigar. He's cut loose at the top of the straight and around the corner. Manigar's raced up to go to the lead from Zarella. Then Fibrillation, Hippopus. Lights of Heaven in the clear, followed by Beaten Fortella, but Manigar coming to the 200 metres mark. He's dashed away. Beaten Up went to second. Lights of Heaven, Fortella, Secret Admirer coming down the outside. Manigar the leader. Beaten Up is grabbing him. Fortella's absolutely flying, but Beaten Up takes the lead. Beaten Up with the Doobert Cup from Fortella and Secret Admirer. Just behind them, Lights of Heaven and Manigar. He just weakened the last 50. Then Light the Night, Zarella. The next time, Dan Lee, Lammersley, Pim's Time, Fibrillation, Hippopus, and last time's a Billionaire.
The stablemate, Beaten Up, who was bolting around the home corner, has got home over the top of Manigar, who dashed away on top 10, 193.70, trifecta $530, and home in 35.78, race 7 Doom. And the Group 1.
All in front of him as a young horse. He'd won a group race in his second or third start and went to Dubai and raced, and as I say, just lost his way a touch. And I think what Australia does to horses, it's a different training environment, just gets them keen and happy again. And you don't need much just to switch them around once they've got that potential. What's next? He'll go home tonight. Go home. Yeah. Still. Well, we were looking towards the spring. I said to the owners, maybe we'd be looking at a McKinnon. That was sort of wishful thinking. A couple of weeks ago, sort of at the end of the carnival, a second tier, take him through the right races. It all depends how his lead-up form will be. He could, in his second prep, he could just really take the next step now. So that's the next step that we'll be hoping for.
Beaten Up, another winner for Chris Waller. This role continues. That was his 4th Australian start, Beaten Up. He certainly appreciated that step up to 2,000 metres. He was the Fortella. Now, Ron, just before we have a look at these beaten riders, anything else that comes to mind just off the top of the head?
Look, Fortella was good again. He's just, he got that style where he got back and he had to make a long, sustained run. I thought, you could make a case that, he's his own worst enemy getting back that far. The question is, did Manigar go too soon? He went before the term, whether he was riding to instructions there or what the story was, because he did get on his bike before the point of the term, and
maybe they're trying to switch him on a little bit because he hasn't really been the horse this year he was last year, and although he's been going better recently, he hasn't really been the same horse. So hard to know. Just on that race, Beaten Up, he was a Group 3 winner, I think, before he came. This is his first Group 1. He's only had 11 starts in his life. He's a 5-year-old with only had 11 starts. So he's very much a horse that could still be learning the trade a little bit, even though he is 5. And, I think Chris Waller's got exactly the right attitude. Doom and Cup winners aren't usually McKinnon Stakes horses. They're usually a couple of lengths below that, but he might improve enough to be one, that horse. So he's got to be given his chance. And, that was a pretty good... I have no problem with that race being a Group 1 race, because the next 4 over the line after that winner, who's a nice horse on the up, were previous Group 1 winners. So it was a good race.
And Secret Admirer, well, she's running her last race, and she ran a brave race for her last race.
Would you run her again? She ran on so well in that. What would be the harm in running her in a 2,400 metre race this preparation? I know they want to put her to stud, and there's probably more money in her at stud than there is racing her. But you know,
I don't know.
All right, so Huey Bowman's going to ride the horse who won the Galaxy in Sydney last time, third to Black Caviar. We know how well the Australian sprinters have done on the world scene over a long period of time now, and Bell Sprinter, certainly it wouldn't be a surprise if his name was added to the honour roll here in the Chris Fly. Good luck to
South Africa, well represented.
Okay, I'm going to go with Lucky Nine, and they're at the start here for the Chris Fly of 2000.
Excitement and the horses, the atmosphere around the track. But Diamond Dashigogo, I think he's handled it. So number 8, to reset in the store.
Racing now in the Chris Flyer. Belmont's Bell Sprinter was out the back early on. Good speed here from Lucky Nine, goalkeeper. And driving up on the outside, Emerald Hill, Super Easy being pushed along. Mr. Big well to the start, but now going up. Kavanagh was just off them and tight for Rumour. Followed by Duck Scholar. Going up wide, Dasher Go-Go, who wasn't quick to begin. Then Speedy Cat. A gap away to Bell Sprinter. And last of all, Belmont last over on the inside, goalkeeper. And Emerald Hill, the local speedster, show the way down the side over Lucky Nine. Mr. Big up on the outside, then Super Easy, Dashy Go-Go going up deeper, followed in by Duck Scholar and Kavanagh near the top of the straight. Speedy Cat, Bell Sprinter about to be brought to the outside of the track, and Belmont last at the rear. Emerald Hill goes up to goalkeeper, top of the lane here, 350 metres to go. Lucky Nine into the clear. Mr. Big out wider, and Super Easy runs on. Bell Sprinter down the outside, running on quickly. There's a fall in the Chris Flyer. Super Easy coming after Lucky Nine. Bell Sprinter out wide. It's Lucky Nine for Hong Kong clear. Super Easy can't pick it up. Bell Sprinter down the outside. Then Hong Kong land the Chris Flyer. Lucky Nine for Preble and Casper Pounds back 4 lengths. Second Bell Sprinter close 4. We've got Super Easy and also Belmont Master running on, and Kavanagh right on their hammer, followed by Speedy Cat. Next to come in was goalkeeper. Then came Mr. Big, well back Duck Scholar dashing with Green Birdie and Brett Preble on Sacred Kingdom, and they've done it again. And that was an emphatic victory. Big run by the Aussie. Bell Sprinter charging down the outside, looks to have got second.
I thought, yeah, done Australia proud, I think. Well done, Jason. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, high class horse. City style for Godolphin played up and was scratched to the gates. This year they settle up Hunter's Light. Have you been impressed with the way he's settled into 16? If this field might be a little tough for him, and he's certainly been very well supported. But getting back on the grass, he has had some success, but it's been in lower levels. Even though maybe a Group 1 or Group 2 in the Singapore Airlines International Cup for many a year. And the field is starting to load. Let's join Craig Evans.
Lions International Cup and let you go. Got a bit of a squeeze out of the gates. Clacks began well. So too Dan Excel poking up on the inside. Military attack. Hunter's Light goes forward. Just off them, ready to strike my window over on the inside. Astorius trapped out a little wide. Malakalok just inside of it as they leave the straight, followed by Better Life. Then Myondra, Lazar, Red Cadeau had to get a bit of cover in third. Dan Excel down on the inside from a Hunter's Light military attack. It'll need a little bit of luck from there, but it's had a beautiful run so far. Malakalok takes off at the 800 metres mark, followed by Ready to Strike. Red Cadeau begins to improve, followed by Marwingo in behind horses. So too Better Life, then Lazar, and Deep Blockers over on the inside. Myondra, the leader, as they cover the top of the straight in the cup. Snuck out a length and a half over Flax. Dan Excel being ridden before the bend, so too Pastorius. Malakalok around the outside, then came Red Cadeau. Hunters as they sweep in. Marwingo and military attack makes his move over on the inside. Bruce the leader, Malakalok, Dan Excel, and here's military attack. Hunter's Light looking for a way through, but military attack. Zach Burton has raced the front of the Singapore Airlines International Cup. Dan Excel, Malakalok, and the zone down the outside, but Hong Kong get the double. Military attack races away, claims it in very military attack bolts in. Dan Excel runs second. Marwingo got through to third, just ahead of Lazar. Followed by Malakalok, who's run a big race from Hunter's Light. Better Life didn't really get out. Ran on okay late from Myondra. Then came Red Cadeau. Hong Kongers have dominated. Military attack for Zach Burton has added that elusive international Group 1 on foreign soil for outstanding trainer John Moore. And he has an elusive international Group 1 on foreign soil for outstanding trainer John Moore. And he hasn't just won, he has absolutely annihilated them. With Zach Burton swinging off him over the last 70 or 80 metres of the race.
And this is the Sires Produce, the BRC Sires Produce. The Group 2 for the 2-year-olds up there at Doomben, $4.20 for Zoostar, but the favourite Missy Longstocking, $4 into $3.80 on course. So a big field of 2-year-olds to go around here in this.
Oh, one's gone off out wide. Look in the size. Architect blew the kick. He missed it about 4. Rosenet was the first to go. Paxamadia began quickly with One Grey driving through in the middle shortly after the start. Zoostar's not far away with Global Dream and Voharder. Missy Longstocking's going to settle back on the fence. Bound for Earth is going metres mark, and Rosenet is the leader. A length over Voharder and Zoostar to the box seat, third the fence. Bound for Earth is trapped out 3 deep, starting to go forward. Global Dream is between runners, and Villanova's wide from One Grey. Paxamadia hooked in the voice of very deep. Missy Longstocking is shuffled back as they approach the corner. They're followed then by Architect, Lee Bell, 4 lock, and on the fence, Octane Flyer is last. Have a look at them, fan, coming around the bend. Rosenet and Vohard, Zoostar behind them. Bound for Earth, Villanova and Hooked is coming quickly on the outside. 300 metres to go. Bound for Earth and Villanova went up to take the lead together. Zoostar got through on the fence, and Hooked is down the outside. Bound for Earth, Villanova, Zoostar on the fence. Zoostar driving up on the inside of Villanova, takes the lead, draws away, and Zoostar won the size from Villanova. Bound for Earth. Samaria would run fourth, I'd say, in front of Hooked and Global Dream the next time the voice, Missy Longstocking. Vohart's pulled up quickly, going over the line, then One Grey. Octane Flyer followed by Rosenet, 4 lock, and last time was Architect, and one's tailed off Laval.
Number 5, Zoostar beats his stablemate Villanova. Number 5 beats number 4, the son of Northern Meteor. Zoostar was travelling beautifully and is the winner of the side. It's the interim dividends, $4.40. $8 Villanova, Bound for Earth, 8.
3 out of 3. Chris Waller-Quinella there. He says he can't split that pair heading towards the JJ Atkins. He won both races Ron with Preste in 2010.
Interesting. I think this is obviously the lead up to the TJ Smith, and you could make a case. Well, the Sydney horses were first 4 across the line there. I think that's the form. It's a matter of what unfolds on the day. Gee, look at the action of this horse. He gets down low. He wants to win. He savages the line, and he's a real winner. But he's been perfectly ridden a couple of times as well. Villanova has done a bit of work in this race. When the speed slowed to a ridiculous speed, he had no option but to slide forward. I thought he stuck on pretty well. Bound for Earth did a pretty good job. And I agree, Paxamadia just couldn't sprint when they sprinted back up on straightening there, but he was doing good work in the Darley colours late here into 4th spot. So you'd expect when he gets to the mile, he's a big improver as well.
Up to the Queensland Derby. Number 2, Hawkspur is $3.80. Hasn't budged on course, but is the favourite up there. The down, you go $6.50 for Usanity.
Rhythm Despair began okay. Now let's have a look for Diademi. She's going over from a wide gate. She's going to go back to the tail of the field. When they settle fully into stride, and Usanity's going to go up and take the lead. Here's Feisty Bell coming up to join it. Arousing Suspicion gets the third, and there's Cassidy straight to the box seat on Hawkspur. Fought the rails like he did in the Burr, and Hawkspur, the gun run third defence. Usanity sits outside it and fourth. Then Lucky inside a fence, followed by Arousing Suspicion. Rhythm Despair about to improve now. Sweeters, Brewers, next Ambitious Champions on the move. They're followed by Smiles for Layla, Honorius. Diademi is now starting to pick up ground. She's going forward between runners, and they're followed by Heater and Hippopus last of all. Feisty Bell led on the turn, 400 to go. Not for long. Here's Hawkspur, and around the home turn, Hawkspur raced up to go to the lead from Feisty Bell. Usanity in the clear. Lucky. Rhythm Despair, Arousing Suspicion. They get to the 300, and Hawkspur dashed away. Rhythm Despair went the second on the outside, coming after Hawkspur, but Hawkspur the leader. Rhythm Despair's making up a lot of ground, but Hawkspur's going strongly from Rhythm Despair and Honorius and Hawkspur. Hawkspur went home to win. Despair second, Honorius third, Arousing Suspicion probably fourth, just in front of Usanity. Ambitious Champion just behind those. Diademi run home. It was never a winning hope. Then Feisty Bell followed by Sweet as Bro, Smiles for Layla. Then came Heater, Lucky. Hippopus a long way back of fence, and New Spur was last.
Number 2, Hawkspur, the favourite, takes out the Grand Prix Stakes. That's 2 stakes races in a row. Well done to him. The Group 3 winner of the Rough Habit Plate last start as well, Hawkspur for Chris Waller and Jimmy Cassidy, is poor as well first up. And of course, has that win over appearance at the dual Group 1 winner since, well, that was their last start back in February.
Queensland, he was travelling like a winner a long way from home, and Jim is very very confident this horse can make it 3 in a row and win the Derby.
Oh, look, if he rides him like that again, maybe he can. He's been flattered by 2 beautiful rides, a classic case of a horse set for a carnival, and he's reaping the rewards. He's no superstar, but he's just been beautifully placed, set up nicely for this. Rhythm Despair's obviously talented. Honorius was first up for a while. He's a real stayer, and you'd have to concede over the Derby distance at Eagle Farm. He comes into calculations. I spotted one here, and he's 50 to 1 for the Derby. I don't know if he'll get in the race, but there's a horse here called Sweet As Bro. He was going to warm into this race, and he got chopped out in the straight and didn't get much room. If he gets in the Derby, I'll be specking him at 40 or 50 to 1.
Well, when you look at that race yesterday, I think I said after the race, that was the Rough Habit Take 2, that race. I mean, it was exactly the same.
Next week, it's Nasrawilla taking the rye. I'll give you more on that in the tick. There's the Queensland Derby. Survived the favourite over Hawkspur. Honioris, Laser Flash had a hiccup.
Horse has been a bit better than that today. Went up 250 during the week to 240 and with the outside gate. Siren won from 16 last year. It's the longest straight run in a track in Australia other than Flemington before we get to a corner. Your song, Epaulette, the Black Caviar from 460 buffering. Chasing that Group 1, better than ready. Should get a good run from the inside gate. Rain Affair, is it wet enough?
One here this afternoon, and prove it wasn't just a wet track form that got him home the BTC Cup. $5 out to $5.50 now for Palette, the other 3-year-old, right up there in the market. $7 for buffering, $9 better than ready. They're loading them up, not far from a start. The Doomben 10,000. Let's head to Alan Thomas.
No, the light's gone off here. The song on the outside was one of the first to go, and buffering began brilliantly. So did Steps in Time and Rain Affair. But here's the first surprise of the race. Your Song's going forward. He's going to sit outside the leader. On settling down, and it's buffering going through to be the leader. Rain Affair second, and Your Song will ease off the speed in third now. 3 lengths away, Steps in Time, and they're followed by Sea Siren, Better Than Ready, Jet Set Lad. 4 lengths away, Epaulette, Manawanui, followed by Spirit of Boon, Pain in the Glass. Further back in the field then was My Quest for Pieces. They came down the side from Rangy Ring Do. Punch on second last, and Yose's 5 off of the rear. They've got 700 metres to go, buffering a length in front. Your Song in second position, Rain Affair third on the fence, and they're followed then by Steps in Time in the middle. Sea Siren going up on the outside, Better Than Ready, trying to get off the fence from Jet Set Lad as they come around the home turn. And Spirit of Boom is next with Manawanui into the straight and buffering led at the 300. Your Song's after him now. Sea Siren went to third, followed by Steps in Time and Better Than Ready. Buffering in front at the 200 metres mark. Your Song trying to get to him. Here's Epaulette starting to descend, and Sea Siren, Spirit of Boom, buffering Your Song, and here's Epaulette. Epaulette's burst through in the middle's taken the lead, drawing away. Epaulette belted in, won the 10,000 from either Sea Siren or buffering from Your Song, Better Than Ready. The next time, Spirit of Boom, Yosei made ground, Jet Set Lad, My Quest for Peace. Further back in the field, then came Steps in Time, Pain in the Glass, Rain Affair's a long way back, and Manawanui has pulled up last, and Rangy Ring Do has failed to complete the track, and he's broken down at the top of the straight.
Oh, dominant performance by Epaulette, the half-brother to Helmet. Gee, that was absolutely superior there, taking out the Doomben 10,000 for 2013. We have the photo there for second and third between Sea Siren, probably three-quarter brother really to Helmet. He paid $6 there.
Brisbane, the 3-year-olds reign supreme again. And very, very sad with Rangy Rangdoo's passing. He's been a great horse for connections, and I know we have to move on from these things, but when you lose a horse like that, I know, it was similar when we lost Mummify, horses like that. They don't come along that very often, and it's a sad day.
Even though
when he is fresh, and we'll need to have that with us in a fortnight.
He did run second to Black Caviar during the Autumn Carnival. His form was pretty good. His second Group 1 after winning the Golden Rose in September. And Karen McAvoy was the winning rider. He's come in to join us on Racing Retro this morning. Thanks for your time, Karen.
Sort of the halfway mark, and Manawanui was travelling nicely.
And then around the bend, they steadied a little bit, and I got back on the bridle. And then I just had to sort of bide my time and just see what Rick McMahon done in front of me. He popped out off the fence, and then I went up inside him, and the rest was history.
Because you could have gone one of two ways there, out or in. You pulled the right rein. You went to the right spot.
Yeah, well, he sort of made my mind up when Better Than Ready shifted out. My only option was to go through, and that's where it enabled me to get a run through. And yeah, visors on, and he showed what he can do. He's been a really smart 2-year-old and a better 3-year-old.
You said visors. Was that your idea to put the visors on him? It's certainly a gear change that we don't see a lot in racing, but it certainly paid dividends yesterday.
Yeah, we sort of tossed up the idea whether it was the whole blinkers or visors, and Peter and myself decided to trial him in the visors, and I just felt that with that little bit of a gap there,
you can see the visors there. A lot of people won't know what visors are.
They're blinkers.
And in regard to just this horse, we know in the last couple of years that many of Peter's horses have gone to Godolphin overseas. We're hoping he stays here because we're losing so many horses to stud duties at the moment. He's a brother of Helmet. Peter Snowden said to me this morning that he's very much still untapped. How far can this horse go now, given, what we saw yesterday and, that ability that Peter feels he has?
Yeah, there's no doubt there's more Group 1 wins in store for him. I'd love to see him stay here as a 4-year-old, but I suppose that's up to the Darley team and whether he goes overseas. But that mare Accessories has been a fantastic mare. She's
to see Siren run a much more encouraging race yesterday.
Yeah, and I think she goes to Royal Ascot now, so that'll be interesting with the Coolmore colours on at Royal Ascot. I just want to make a point here. Like Epaulet, after a long spell, ran an amazing race behind Black Caviar and the TJ Smith, and then that just sort of flattened him in his next start, and now he's bounced back. I think it could be a similar thing with Your Song. He was so good in the BTC Cup first up, and I just think that took the edge off him yesterday. He's a big chance of bouncing back in the Stradbroke, and I think the market has overreacted with his performance, getting back out to $7 or $8. I think that's over the odds. He'll go much better in the Stradbroke. Your Song buffering was great. I think Buffering proved yesterday that he has to lead. He doesn't get that name, the Bulldog, for nothing. He's a lead at all cost horse, and he fights off all challenges, and that went against Your Song as well because he's a hard horse to eyeball. Look, there's some other good.
Fair to say, AT, that Anthony Cummings was surprised where Your Song was positioned early in the race. Given that, the horse will certainly press on to the Stradbroke. He's come through well this morning. We know after that he'll be going to stud. Peter Roval will be back on there as well. This is the latest market for the Stradbroke. Epaulet, the favourite over Better Than Ready. Your Song. Arenosa, we'll talk about that horse a little while later. Sizzling runs next week, of course, with the stablemate in Beltone. That feeling I'm hearing is that Buffering will end up top weight at 58. And I reckon Epaulet won't be too far behind. I feel that the horse will pay in some way dearly for winning at 10,000 yesterday. Kieran, if this horse gets 57 tomorrow, and that's only my speculation, a kilo under Buffering, can you win a Stradbroke with that weight?
Yeah, 57. I'll be hoping he gets a bit less than that. On the plane last night, myself and Peter were talking. We thought sort of 54 and a half, 55 maybe. But how many 3-year-olds have ran? I know Nash said Bella Spree ran in it and had 52 or 53, I think. So I'm not sure of what 3-year-olds have carried in the past. But yeah, we'd be happy with 54 and something. But 57 would be a bit tough, I reckon.
Racing now, Voaloisi from the inside, staked up out of the barrier, will go through and be the leader. Managar began okay, Quintessential, ridden very positively in the early part. Light of all, Voaloisi came past the 600 metres mark by length. Quintessential is about to breathe down its neck as they come to the corner. 2 lengths away, Managar's a billionaire. Lights of Heaven and Moriarty's last as they come around the bend. 400 metres left to go when Voaloisi is the leader. Here's Quintessential. Managar's coming up on the outside. Moriarty's about to run on, and then comes Lights of Heaven. Voaloisi led at the 200 metres mark, tackled by Quintessential, and now Managar's coming out the Quintessential from Moriarty. Quintessential the leader with 100 metres to go. Managar's wearing it down. Managar and Quintessential. Managar the outside. Quintessential fought back. Quintessential, I think, has nosed out Managar on the line. It's a photo for third. Voaloisi near the fence and Moriarty out wide. Lights of Heaven, it's back in behind them. And last time's the billionaire
in an absolute rib tickler. Madagar was going to win. He had quintessentials measure. And right in the...
550 Academus, 550 Plat $7, and Complicate 8 into $7.50. This is the Queensland Guineas, almost set up there. We'll come back and look at the last couple here shortly. Here's race 6, Eagle Farm.
He won 4. He should have won the other one. He should be unbeaten here. And although the inside, one of the first to go was Platinum Kingdom. Getting out well too was Complicate. Saluda began okay. Now where's Sizzling? He's back 4th last when they hit the ground. At the end of 200 metres, Saluda and Platinum Kingdom joined by Complicate on the outside. 50 to go. Lily Bolero, the leader from Jamando. And Complicate's racing in 3rd position. Doubtfully going up on the outside. They're followed then by Saluda's on the rail. Academus trying to improve. Sizzling is now going forward. And they're followed by My Sharpella. Platinum Kingdom shuffle back a bit as they come around the home turn where Sizzling. He's let rip from about midfield and with 400 metres left to go. Jamando the leader. Sizzling coming after him from Lily Bolero. Saluda dances on Stars and Lucky Hustler coming down the outside to the 200 metres mark and Sizzling out in the middle of the track. Winner the lead. Lucky Hustler and Dances on Stars coming after Sizzling. Sizzling the leader. Dances on Stars and Lucky Hustler trying to get to Sizzling, but he's back to Eagle Farm today. Sizzling and he's home again. Sizzling won the Guineas. Sizzling from Dances on Stars and Lucky Hustler. It's a photo for 4th. Academus will Complicate. The next home, Lily Bolero for Jamando, My Shabella, Saluda doubtfully. They're followed by Platinum Kingdom, Luna Rise, a long way back to Boban. They're followed then by General Exhibit, and last time in the race is I Winsome.
Oh, he's a very good horse, isn't he? Number 1, Sizzling, takes out the Queensland Guineas for 2013. The son of Snitzel for Kelso Wood and Chris Muntz. Of course, he had good news regarding his cancer through the week and getting some good support. There are the interim dividends there after the Queensland Guineas, the win of Sizzling. What a great little horse he is for Kelso Wood and Chris Muntz. Dances on.
Sky Racing, Queensland Guineas for Sizzling. Blinkers on, and they'll stay on for the Stradbroke.
And he'll be hard to beat too. Oh dear, what a great
For the Stradbroke.
and he'll be hard to beat too. Oh dear, what a great that was a great trial. What are you laughing at?
Everyone's having a dig.
What you said before is probably right. The well-balanced Queensland has a chip on both shoulders. You know?
No,
See, it's Origin Week. They all stick together in Origin Week.
there's only one thing worse than a parade. Anyway, I thought that was a great Stradbroke trial, and look. Obviously, they knew he was going well, and he'd just been. All comes down to timing with him and getting across the road to the bigger track. So look, full credit to everyone concerned there.
Can you say you were wrong? That would make them happy.
Oh yeah, just doing this to a field like this, and I thought. I thought Muntz went too early on him.
I wanted to agree with you, but I just wouldn't.
No, look, and I'm a big chance of tipping him to win the Stradbroke on that performance alone because I thought he did it tough because he took off before the turn and he held off. He was a sitting shot for all the challenges. I've got no excuses for the horses behind him there, and it was a dominant performance.
Bill, was it Kembla Grange or Newcastle? Yeah, Newcastle. Then won at Warwick Farm at the Sunday meeting there, and just as Cosmic, who's a $13 chance, and as I said to Chris Nelson earlier, love to see this horse run a big race for us.
$3.20 into $3. Gonda Coro, well, she's now out to $4.20. That is good value for her. $4.60 on the tote, $2.80 the tote for Dear Demi. Let's head to Alan Thomas. They're a minute past start time for the 2013 Queensland Oaks.
Well, Gonda Coro is towing on, and they're off on the Oaks. And Gondokoro to the inside, got out fairly well, not as quickly as Dear Demi, pinged the gates, and is the early leader. Antarctic Dream began well with Islands Teardrop, and Kazan Luck is coming over from the outside, and so too is Porcelanis. When they come to the winning post the first time, and Kazan Luck the leader, joined by Porcelanis, and Justice Cosmic is going up to join those. The last shower's gone to 4th, a little bit deep around Islands Teardrop. Antarctic Dream is going around them. Now Dear Demi's in a bit of traffic, and Gondokoro has slipped right up on the inside and gone past Dear Demi as they go past the 800 metres. They're followed by Islands Teardrop, Miss Anella, Vaquera, Proper Madam, Phantom Caller, Fantasia, Zombie Dancer, and Magic in Motion is last. 700 metres left to go. Kazan Luck, the leader, a half clear. Jermaine Lass on the outside as they come up to the turn with Justice Cosmic. Now Gondokoro has gone quickly in about fourth. Diadem is going to have to chase from behind her as they come around the home turn. Into the straight, Kazan Luck led. Justice Cosmic, Gondokoro coming on the outside very quickly, sprinting. Island's Teardrop, Miss Anella, and Diademi's trying to rev up down the outside, but Gondokoro went to the lead. Magic and Motion getting up on the fence. Miss Anella down the outside. Gondokoro is the leader with 100 to go. Miss Anella went to second, but Gondokoro's going strongly. She's got the oak shot the bits, Gondokoro. She went home to beat Miss Anella, but Queer's run third. Justice Cosmic fourth. Then Magic and Motion, Kazan Luck, Diademi, Jermaine Lass, Proper Madam, followed by Fantasia Island's Teardrop. The next time in the race, Porcelanas, followed by Zombie Dancer. Further back in the field came Phantom Caller, Soapy in the Oaks.
Great performance, Gondokoro, sister to the Derby winner in Billionaire. She's now an Oaks winner, number 4, Gondokoro. Good training performance by Pat Program. Don't forget, Trackstar today. Deep Header will take you through all the feature races there in Brisbane, the Queensland Oaks founder. Gondokoro, Miss Sanella.
They had a bit of rain coming into the meeting and it played well. Zabeel, 43rd Group 1 winner, his 4th Queensland Oaks. What a great sire he is, and what a terrific staying filly she is, Gondokoro. She simply outstayed the opposition yesterday, and they're a loyal bunch, those Queens. But she's gutsy too.
She certainly has gone to Coro. She'd run second in the Doomben Roses behind Diademi, but certainly turned the tables in a big way to win the big Group 1. Pat Carey is the trainer. He's joining us from Brisbane this morning.
He's got training for the internationals now, and you've got him an overnight success all of a sudden.
You think about Pat 5 years ago, he's not a name that comes to mind, but now, yes, but he's been around, a good trainer for 20 years.
He's getting some great results at the moment. Let's stay on the Oaks. Let's hear from some of...
She was rattled, and you got to give it to McLeod because he found her back, which wasn't hard to do. He had a target, one drew barrier 3, one drew barrier 1, but he got off the fence at the right time, and it was a great ride on the winner. In saying that, you will not see a better beaten ride than the third ride on Miss Sanella. And Nolan drew the outside barrier. He went straight across, and he just tagged Gondokoro the whole way. That was a sensational piece of horsemanship from him. She just didn't have the right lead-up form. She'd only come out of a 1700 stayer, maybe next autumn or even the spring. So, and I did think Justice Cosmic was pretty good as well, because she did over-race and didn't settle at any stage. But all honours with the winner, she was simply just outstayed them.
Oh, yeah, she was great. I thought the interference was minimal. I mean, stewards were pretty, firm with Reese after that, because it only just brushed a horse that was going backwards, and I don't think it made much.
Looking to qualify for the Stradbroke. Now you got Minnesara, a 440 favourite. Now Hot Schnitzel, $7. Galar, $7. Miss Stella Bell, $7. Griffin, $8.50. Now Starts Me Up.
In the last, Starts Me Up jumped okay, but can't go the speed, and Celtic Dancer the first to go. Border Rebel began quickly. Conservatorium's going up on the outside with Steel Zip in the run of the first corner. Mahasara pinged out in a great spot, will settle 5th. Then Morning Captain, Hot 3 parts, Conservatorium, 1.5 to Border Rebel from Steel Zip, and Morning Captain is wide. Now Mahasara is pushing through in between runners. He tried to hold his ground there. He couldn't. He dropped back the favourite. They're followed by Starts Me Up. Hot Schnitzel and Galar has gone about 8 or 10 deep as they come around the home turn. 4.25 to go. Border Rebel slipped up on the inside of Celtic Dancer from Conservatorium. Morning Captain, Hot Schnitzel. Mahasara trying to get a move on, and Galar's coming down the extreme outside, but Border Rebel led past the 200 metres mark. Conservatorium, Galar and Hot Schnitzel coming after Border Rebel. Border Rebel the leader. Conservatorium, Galar's coming down the outside. Conservatorium and Galar. Griffin's coming late. They hit it. Oh, gee, it's a big finish. Conservatorium, Galar and Griffin. They're the 3 over the line. Just behind the Morning Captain, Border Rebel, Miss Stella Bell, followed by Starts Me Up and Hot Schnitzel, Celtic Dancer. Further back in the field, doesn't matter anyway. Ladder News, Mahasara's finished a long way back, and then Steel Zip and Smoke and Joey in a big finish in the last event of the day.
Thank you. It's the order that AT called that there. Conservatorium number 4 from number 16, Galar and Griffin. Another fast finishing run by him in the pink colours. Let's see the bobs at the head though. Galar in the middle, but that on the inside looks to be the winner there. Conservatorium.
No, it doesn't, Carol. I reckon Oregon Galar will get.
Galar, you reckon, maybe?
I'm hoping it. Maybe I'm talking through me.
You're right. On the monitor, it's a bit hard to see, but we'll wait on the judge on that.
Oregon Galar will get.
Galar, you reckon, maybe?
I'm hoping it. Maybe I'm talking through me.
You're right. On our monitor, it's a bit hard to see, but we'll wait on the judge on that one. You might be absolutely right there, having a look at that with the benefit of a better monitor at that end. All right, so let's have a look at the what's happening here for race 8. We are a minute away.
Galar.
Race 8. We are a minute away.
Galar.
Start time. It is Galar. Yep, exactly. You've got a better monitor to look at than we.
To the this is the Dale Ripper here, and the market for that 130%. That's not bad by Brisbane stands compared to the 140 they're bidding at Flemington. With 10 minutes to go. Fire up Fifi, the third set. And they're racing, and Floria from the inside bounded out of the gates. Alpina began quickly. Arty Flight from out wide is going fast, and so too is Steps in Time. And when they settle fully into stride, it's Arty Flight leading, Steps in Time in second spot, followed by Babel and Red Tracer going up quickly on the outside. Floria's going to settle back fifth on the ball. 700 metres left to go. Steps in Time by 3 to Arty Flight and 2.5 to Red Tracer outside of Babel on the rail. 2 to Gay's Choice from Floria. Fire up Fifi improving in the middle. Post Restant deep from Alpina. Soft Sand followed by Discreet as they come to the corner. Pain in the glass. And Miss Stella Bell's a long way back with Perfectly Stunning. Steps in Time. Leads past the 400 from Arctic Flight. Babel on the inside. Red Tracer's called up on it. Starting to scoot through in the middle. There followed by Gay's Choice. And further back is Floria. And then comes Fire up Fifi inside the 200. Red Tracer went up on the inside of Arctic Flight. Steps in Time between them. But Red Tracer gets through. Warriors diving up on the fence. Arctic Flight's coming again, but Red Tracer's just in front, and Red Tracer has beaten Floria and Arctic Flight. Fire up PV, Van Hame for fourth, and in a risk aversion with Stella Bell Discreet. Soft Sand Steps in Time the next time. Quidnunk. They're followed then by Gay's Choice, Perfectly Stunning, Emmeline, Funshine, Babel. Alpina's a long way back with Post Restant and Last Home, Pain in the Glass. One for Jeff and Mary Grimish here. A Red Tracer, well ridden here by National. Bad gate and quality there. Beats Flyer at the advantage of an inside gate, every possible. And Arctic Flight.
The panel this morning, Chris Waller. There's another winner for him there with Red Tracer. She's won this 2 years in a row. She hasn't won a Group 1 yet, Ron, but that might happen in 2 weeks' time.
Geez, he's brave. That was pretty to watch. Barrier 18, 1 out, 1 back after 100 metres. Sensational ride, but a gallant mare. See a lift off the canvas there when she was challenged the last 50 metres, and Nash just asked that little bit more from her. She's all heart, not much of her, but all heart, and she's right in the winner stakes, especially if you get a little bit of sting out of the ground. Arctic Flight was good because she chased the hot speed and kept coming there. Boy, look at this thing back last in the red. A thing called Risk Aversion. Boy, oh boy. You watch it jump out of the ground here late. I think the stewards asked Chris Muntz a few little questions there about his vigour the last little bit, but she has a flashing light there, Al.
Yeah, she's a very good horse when right, and you can see her getting home hard into.
Thompson wins for Gwenda Markle. They're almost set for the Group 1. JJ Atkins. Let's go to Queensland.
Now, Octane Flyer. Dowdstown Charlie will be the last to move in, and they'll be ready to run on the JJ Atkins. Zoostar backed heavily here, $4.60 into $4. They're all in the gates. Set to run on the Group 1, 1,600 metres. JJ Atkins, stand by for a start. Which one of these horses is going to run the mile out the fastest or the strongest? And they're off and racing now, and Paxamadia was the first to go. Romantic Touch began quickly, and Zoostar is going to go up and join the leaders when they settle down, but at the end of 200, Romantic Touch goes to the lead. Paxamadia second on the outside. Zoostar will box seat third, followed by Chosen Idol Locomotion. Touch by 1. Paxamadia second. Zoostar third on the fence from Chosen Idol Locomotion. Global Dream. No luck for Villanova, doing a tough out 3 deep. A length and a half further back, some moments on the inside there of Hooked in the middle. Octane Flyer going forward from Dowdstown Charlie, and a long way way back. She's amazing. And Navalina on the fences last of all. To the corner in the JJ Atkins, 500 metres to go. Romantic Chacha half in front from Paxamadia, Chosen Idol. Sue Star waiting for the run on the fence. Villanova striding up on the outside as they come around the home turn. And they're followed then by Locomotion, 300 to go. Romantic Touch the leader. Paxamadia trying to get on turn. Sue Star gets in the clear. Villanova running home well. Octane Fly down the outside. Romantic Touch still the leader. Paxamadia and Sue Star. Villanova, they're all trying to get the Romantic Touch. Romantic Touch in front. Sue Star's having a dig late, but Romantic Touch in front. Romantic Touch leads all the way to beat Sue Star and Paxamadia. Photo for fourth. Villanova and Global Dream in it from some moments. The next time, Book Octane Fly, Navalina. Further back on the field then came She's Amazing, followed by Dowdstown, Charlie, Chosen Idol and Locomotion is last of all. Good performance.
Gone from a maiden to a midweeker to a Group 1. That's how you do it. Gay Waterhouse for Nash Rilla, or Nash for Gay. And the Guru colours here, they've got your song coming up later, Guru, and beats the Zoostar, early back Romantic Touch, beats the well-tried Zoostar and Paxamadia. Big stables on the show here. Gay beats Waller, beats Darley. 7-1-8 there, all the way for Nash in front there on Romantic Touch. Better odds on the tote, $3. Beats Zoostar, shared by Hawkspur for Chris Waller, just missed out in the previous. And also on the Kurova.
Speed. He'd won a Canterbury midweek by 7.5 lengths in his previous run. He really stepped up to Group 1 standard yesterday, Ron.
He's a promising racehorse. He did get favours there. He steadied up from between the 900 and the 500 there, and probably had a few favours. But he's lightly raced. He's all in one prep. He ran dazzling figures at Canterbury last start. Not so good figures yesterday. They didn't shape up with a couple of the other mile races on the day. But look, a very tradesman-like win. Zoostar was a touch unlucky because he had to come back around Paxamadia and they were sprinting home, and he just had, although it looked like he had the run of the race, he just had a little bit more to do, and he needed to get out a little bit earlier, I should say. Villanova had no luck wide all the way. I think it's a solid race.
Well, I've got it on my list of questionable Group 1s.
It's a long list.
What, with the other 200?
No, that is a questionable.
Outside the Melbourne Cup and the Doncaster Mile, you've got them all questionable.
You want to take that extreme view, Ron. That's not true. I could give you a long list.
Every time we've had a Group 1 this season, you're bagged.
No, that's not.
You haven't?
No, it's not true. It's just not true, right? That's true. Wrong. Right? There are a few that I think are questionable, and that's one of them. It hasn't had a champion win it since, I think, Mahogany. That's 20 years ago. Now, these horses may go on and win big races, but right at that time yesterday, that wasn't Group 1 standard.
That's one of my favourite races. I really think that.
Well, go through the list of horses that have won it the last 20 years. Not a lot of them have gone on to do big things.
Correct. She's up against the borders here. $4.20 for Gondokoro. Rhythm to spare out to $8.850 for Honoria half brother to a Gugu. So interesting race. Laser Flash, Sanity Electric Fusion also in the mix for the Queensland Derby. But Hawkspur
continues from what's going on here also. There's the market. Not much between these, or nothing between Hawkspur and Survive, both $4 now. That's the official prices. Gondokoro, the filly, trying to do the double, $4.20. Honorius wanted a bit better than this, $7.50 in the up and coming. Rhythm to spare. And
Gondokoro jumped okay. Hawkspur missed it a bit. Honorius from barrier 2, the first to go, and tracked up on the inside, began okay in front of Faust and arousing suspicion. Laser Flash and Harley Vital and Kentor going forward. Hawkspur's back on the ruck a little bit early. Followed then by Celtic Prince and Rhythm to Spare. Followed by Hitter a little bit deep to the turn out of the straight from Sir Denzel Zagami. Now Survive's got in. Good piece of riding by Riddell. One away from the fence. And then comes Usanity. A long way back on the field. Then Electric Fusion. Gondokoro's back second last. And last of all, position Faustus next on the inside as they go down the side. Usanity's off on the outside. Hawkspur is back behind those, and Survived is continuing. He's gone forward early, Survived. He's gone up to about 7th or 8th position. He's 3 deep, but he's going forward. Honorius is going to get right onto his back. Trackstar's back on the rail, followed by Rhythm to Spare, Heater. Now followed then by Celtic Friends, a long way back, Electric Fusion. Gondokoro's on the move now. They're followed by Sir Denzel, and then Lucky and Zagami. He's sailing race to the lead on the bend. Hawkspur in a glorious run through between horses. I'll Survive very deep as they come around the turn from Laser Flash. Norris is getting a run up near the fence in Gondaporo and going to come to the extreme outside. Hotspur dash to the front. Cassidy had a look over the left shoulder. He saw a Norris looming on the outside and Rhythm Despair running on. But it's Hotspur clear inside the 200 metres mark. He dashed away. Electric Fusion, the Norris and Rhythm Despair battling into the tall Hotspur. And Hotspur going to belt in the derby. Electric Fusion got second. Honoria third. Rhythm Despair fourth and Gondaporo fifth. 7 lengths away, Usadity, followed by Celtic Prince, then Survive, followed by Laser Flash. The next time in the race, Lucky, Arousing Suspicion, Faust Alley, Vital Track, Star and Heater, Sagami, Sedenzel, and last time Air Spout at the Kentor.
Cassidy closing in on 100 Group 1 career wins. I reckon that's 99 for Jimmy. He'll get that corrected or confirmed or otherwise. But he's ridden this horse for basically three copybook rides past three. Taken for the Rough Habit, Grand Prix, and now the Queensland Derby. Waller again. Well done, Chris. Group 1.
When Jim and Bernie talk about that Triple Crown, the Rough Habit, the Grand Prix, and the Queensland Derby are the three races that make that up, and he's done it well in all of them, Ron.
And he's been dominant in the three of them. You know, he's won with I know he's got three brilliant rides from Jimmy, but he's had the horse to do it, and the horse has just sprinted away for soft wins. I think Electric Fusion should have made that race very interesting. He just got hampered coming to the turn there and lost a lot of momentum, and I thought his effort was sensational. Look, Honorius was beautifully ridden by Rod. He took all the right options, and had his chance. Other than that, I really can't say much about the others. Survived, I don't know what was happening there. Anyway, the winner was just far too good.
Beautifully placed from Chris Waller. Took him there for the right races. He's and beautifully ridden by Jimmy. He went Plan B when things didn't work out, and that takes a bit of experience, a bit of knowledge. Plan B, and that was beautifully done. Whether he goes on from here, it's arguable, but he's been placed beautifully right there.
Well, he's a type of horse, how far he goes, nobody knows. But he's one of those foolproof horses. He jumps out of the gates, puts himself on the box seat and finds the line. So no matter where he goes, he's going to be competitive. Whether he's competitive in the tougher races in the spring, only time will tell.
What a progression it's made. Let's look down the Stradbroke. The favourite is Your Song at $4.80. Buffering $6.50. Epaulet $7. Sizzling out to $7.50 after opening favourite in the Stradbroke. Better Than Ready at $9. Streamer Glenn Boss Guy Wilder. Geez, a big push around for this mare. Streamer freshened up $11. Fontalina Jimmy Cassidy. Can he win?
I think it'll be a great finish as well. Set to run. They stand. Racing in the Stradbroke, and Buffering was the first to go. Epaulet didn't jump all that well at all, came out second last. Hot Schnitzel began brilliantly, and when they settled down, it's Buffering inside. Hot Schnitzel, Your Song third, followed by Decision Time. Streamers out deep on the track. Spirit of Boom driving along the fence, and Beltone not far away in front of Fontalina. They're played by Spirit Song, Happy Zero, Solzhenitsyn. Famous Seamus a little bit worse than midfield from Yosei. Sizzling has got over for me. Wide Gate followed by Better Than Ready. Linton a long way back. My Quest for Peace, and Epaulet is last. 800 metres left to go, and it's Buffering. A length over Hot Schnitzel and 2.5 to Your Song from Spirit of Boom, followed by Decision Time and Beltone. Spirit Song is next from Streamer. A little bit deep, and Fontalina's in between runners. Solzhenitsyn going forward. Yosei on the fence. Sizzling's in traffic, followed by Happy Zero as they come around the turn. And Better Than Ready's a long way back, and Epaulet will be last into the straight. Buffering led past the 400. He kicked away. He's out 2 lengths to Hot Schnitzel in second spot. Your Song is called upon from the by Spirit of Boom. Decision Time. Where are the back markers? They're not with us at the moment. Buffering led past the 200. Hot Schnitzel, Spirit of Boom, Your Song. Streamers coming home. Buffering still the leader. Spirit of Boom. Linton is driving up along the fence, and Linton will get up and win the Stradbroke. From Buffering, Spirit of Boom or Streamer. Solzhenitsyn sizzling back behind those. Jose. They're followed then by Hot Schnitzel, Happy Zero. Epaulet never got into it. Then My Quest for Peace, Spirit Song, Fontalina, followed by Beltone. Decision Time. Then Ready, and Your Song has pulled up at the end.
What a ride. Unbelievable ride here from Nick Hall on Linton. Drew one of the outside gates, went back, rode for luck, and got the fence. $25, $26 SP. It's a huge win. International experience here for Stefan Freeborg, the owner, who loves racing grey horses. He races horses all over the world. Well under Martin Telly, his partner in this horse. Sydney Sider, who's
Right, so good runs all. And Buffering looked like he was going to hang on a little bit coming up the inside the streamer. A good run as well.
If you ever gone clearly, I think John's just found the right sort of distance range for him. He's doing really well.
Obviously, Buffering set a nice, genuine seat, but didn't look outrageous.
Yeah, no, the speed was good, and that always is in these sort of races, so that's to be expected.
The two greys returning there. Linton, early in his career, he was known as a stayer, of course. He'd run second in an Australian Cup and third in a BMW. There he was winning a major sprint in Queensland yesterday. He, of course, is trained by John Sadler, who's joining us from our Melbourne studio.
Gave him a good spell. We've seen him down to Mark Young at Colac, who just a wonderful condition of horses, and sent the horse back, Andrew, in just looking ready to win a Gary Owen. He really did, and we've been able to keep the condition on him, and it would be interesting for a lot of,
including Damien Brown, who rode the bridesmaid yet again here, Buffering.
I backed off mid-race. I sort of took Malcolm's advice and got the clock in my head and backed off a bit. And so he gave me a good kick on the corner. As I say, they were going to have to ride good sectionals to run them down. We'll have a lot of luck and that's racing as well.
We had a lot of luck from the barrier. I was able to get him through deep with cover and follow streamer. He tracked up brilliantly. Actually, sort of wish I got going a little bit earlier on him. He's a little bit one pace, but that last 50 metres, he really flew. Well, he ran really well. He couldn't go with speed, but they ran early. But I thought he finished his race off really well.
Yeah, it was disappointing today, but quite obviously we thought he'd come through hard running the infield and okay, but when they give him a squeeze at top of the run and he felt quite flat, and I say that that run took a lot more out of him than what we'd thought. So he goes to Studnet. I say that that run took a lot more out of him than what we'd thought. So he goes to Stud now, and I'm sure he'll have a marvellous career. I just tell you.
You really got a feel for the connections of Buffering. That was his 16th try at a Group 1 race yesterday. He just can't crack it. I thought he had it won yesterday. I thought this would be a great story. He finally gets his Group 1. No.
Yeah, look, he had his chance, and I thought he was going to win with 100 metres to go, but just the winner just got all the breaks there. But he was brave, as he always is, Buffering. A couple of runs in that race. Streamer was sensational. She was wide, no cover most of the race, and she did it tough and still toughed it right out to the finish there. Your Song, I thought he was going to win on straightening, but I do read that he bled from one nostril after the race, so there's an excuse there with Your Song. Obviously, there's an issue with him.
Well, it was one of the first open Group 1s that wasn't won by a 3-year-old. In fact, the 3-year-olds finished in the second half of the field in that race, and maybe that just says that a lot of those 3-year-olds, they just can't go on and on and on. They come to an end, and young horses do that. So maybe that was a full stop to the 3-year-old dominance this season, and that will be for next year anyway. So, we'll see what comes along next.
Yeah, I thought John Sargent, preference for Bart, $7.50, and wider you go. Last race here of Flemington in 9 minutes, and Emoto has been well back to you. Four
Gates open, and they're off and racing now, and Savannah Rush from the inside was the first to go. Fumicino began okay. Shamadashing and Margins going up, and so too Quintessential. Fibrillation ducking over behind them. Zanista, Miss Artistic, and Shenzhou Steed going forward. Lessers Morse trying to make some ground early. They're followed by Moriarty, Midsummer Sun getting back on the field, followed by Precedence. Light in the Night wants to reap and tear. Norella's back third last on the outside as they go to the turn out of the straight, and they're followed by Saint and Costa and Vadotta's last of all. Out to the 1,800 metres, then Zanista goes to the lead by a length over Miss Artistic, and Margins is third. Shenzhou Steed sits fourth on the outside, and Quintessential's getting a lovely run to the Brisbane Cup, and Zanista 3 parts to Shenzhou Steed. They're followed by Miss Artistic, the outside. On the fences, Margin, Quintessential between runners. Shamadashing going up as they come to the turn. So is Lessers More. Light in the Night deep as they come around the home turn. And Fumicino and Moriarty are trying to look for runs as they come around the home turn. Zanista led 400 to go from Margin. Shenzhou Steed. Quintessential's in the clear at the right time. Shamadashing, Lessers More. Light in the Night is coming down the outside, and Moriarty is looking everywhere for a run, and he's got a split Moriarty, and he's starting to come. Quintessential hit the lead. Moriarty coming up on the outside, then Zanista, but Moriarty raced to the lead, close to home in the Brisbane Cup, and Moriarty beat Quintessential and Zanista. Light in the Night will be fourth. Just in front of Brothera. The next time, Zarella, Lessers More, Shamadashing, Precedence never got into it from Fumicino. The next time in the race, Shenzhou Steve, Fibrillation, margins, Rafira, Savannah Rush, followed then by Saint and Costa, Midsummer Sun, but Don't's a long way back, and last time in the race was Miss Artistic.
I see Waller again. There's Neil Werrett, of course, best known, of course, as the majority owner of Black Caviar, but a great supporter of Chris Waller in many racing stables, and he's got a share in Moriarty. They're his colours. He gets to wear them on board Moriarty, no matter what the percentage he owns. Turns it round on Quintessential from last time, and of course in the Eagle Farm Cup, and Nash gives it a perfect ride from a bad gate. Waller, it's been a day of star performances up there today. And Chris
Pat's Cup this horse, Moriarty, a Gosford Cup, a Lord Mayor's Cup, now a Brisbane Cup, an import. He's been a good buy, Ron.
My word, he has. And look, I keep saying, we know Nashville Will is a great rider, but he was right in the zone yesterday. This horse drew barrier 21. He come in 4 or 5 barriers with scratchings, but Nash knows this horse so well. He knows he can sprint. He obviously he didn't need any range of the day, which he got, so he had a few favours there. But when he's held up for one last run, that's what he does. And he's a promising staying type of horse. And just he got that acceleration, which is needed in a good stayer. And that's what he's got.
There wasn't a lot of room where he came between Lesser's More and Light the Night when he initially went for the run. Quintessential was given a perfect run by Brown. He rode 2 perfect races yesterday. Brown and Quintessential buffering came away with nothing. I thought the
Go to the big Group 1 race. It's in fact the last Group 1 race of the Australian racing season. It was the Sky Racing Tattersalls Tiara at Eagle Farm, and Streamer was the favourite at $4.40.
Sky Rush, Red Tracer fifth, a little bit deep from Spirit Song. Skating on ice between runners from Floria. Now Streamer's buried away on the rail. They're followed by She's Clean, Piranha's next, whatever, whenever. A long way back as they come to the turn, doubtfully, Shannara, Risk Aversion, and Yosei will be last as the Tiara field heads up for home, 400 to go. Steps and Time led Arctic Flight, Sky Rush, Red Tracer coming up on the outside, Floria, Diamond Earth near the fence. Yosei and Streamer are taking shortcuts near the inside from Perron. Diamond Earth led past the 200 metres mark. Red Tracer out in the middle of the track, and Floria trying to get the Diamond Earth with Red Tracer taking the lead with 100 metres left to go. It's a Group 1 day-to-day Red Tracer. She's racing away. Red Tracer has won from a photo between Floria and Streamer. Fourth home in the race then was Sky Rush or whatever, whenever they're together.
She was just right, had a game face on, and tremendous effort by Chris and all the team there at, the Waller camp, and yeah, very satisfying when she's a lovely mare, and she, no more deserved horse in the race.
Indeed, she finally lands a Group 1. She'd been placed in a couple, but yesterday was her day. Red Tracer, trained, of course, by Chris Waller, who's our special guest on Racing Retro this morning. Thanks for coming. Horses and a great team around me.
9 Group 1 wins. Red Tracer, you've probably got as much satisfaction out of her than most of them, because she's just been so brave all the way through.
Yeah, she has. No more deserved horse to finally crack one. But I was thinking on the way here, a few of our Group 1ers, in fact, all of them, and when you think about it, they all really deserve it, and very hard achievement for them, and you just need the right horse, the right conditions on the day, and the right jockeys, and the right preparation. So it's worked out amazingly well.
Chris, he just holds her form so well.
Yeah, if anything, she's improved. I think first up in the spring, she won the Premier, which is a Group 2 weight for age race on a good track, and then carried that form through. And then this preparation, running second in the Cornwall with a very big weight by a small margin, second in the Queen of the Turf, and then her form in Brisbane, the 2 runs, 2 wins, has been impeccable. Chris, when you look at the to win those races, so you can only work with what you've got and with what races are available, and you try and be at as many of them as you can.
One horse that you won't have for the spring there, and probably could have been your number 1 gun, would be Reliable Man. Unfortunately, we've lost him.
Yeah, he's amidst stallion deals at the moment, and it's 50-50 whether he races on or whether he has a career in the breeding barn in the northern and southern hemisphere. So
one Red Tracer we've talked about. What else impressed you in the Tiara?
Well, I don't think we can make too many excuses for any beaten runners. Streamer was gallant in defeat, but you could hardly say she was unlucky because she was in the worst part of the track or whatever, because she was beaten fairly and squarely by a margin by Red Tracer. Look, I can't say too much about the Breton Brigade. I think as the race unfolded, the race finished, and you can't say, oh, geez, that should have won or that should have finished a lot closer. I think it was a fairly run race.
Too happy.
I am. No, look, he's a lovely fella, Colt, as you can see, and he's taken the trip well. He's taken Newmarket well. He looks like he's a ball of muscle. He is, yeah. He's a big, strong Colt, and as you can see, he's very fit, and he's really ready to race. But he's young. Is he, at this stage, a Choisir, a takeover target, a Miss Andretti? Well, he's obviously not going to be a Black Caviar, make believe. But we did run second here 2 years ago with Star Witness, also a 3-year-old at this time of the year. I think this horse might be a length or two better going into this week, and that's what we need to find. And remembering that our show Back to a Mile is a totally different situation, but the question is, even if he runs his race, will he necessarily be the good thing that some people think? I tell you what, Shay racing for the King's Stand away to a pretty good line. Spirit Court jumps well and heads over towards the Stands rail, where he's in isolation at the moment. Stepper Point and Bungle in the Jungle lead down the centre with Move in Time. Reckless Abandon and Herat are front rank. Doc Hay tracks them up in midfield. Shay's positioned in midfield early on with Ballesteros, Kingsgate Native and Jack Dexter. Angels Will Fall, Sham Express's Pink Jackets in midfield with Twist Spirit. Then Pearl Secret back towards the rear of the field with Medician Man, and Racing Solo Spirit Court is behind at this stage as they make their way with over 2 furlongs to travel. Reckless Abandon in the dark blue leads with Herat. That little breakaway group with over on the far side Bungle in the Jungle. Also trying to improve over there is Move in Time. Shay's in that group in company with Sham Express, and they now move through. Reckless Abandon heading over to the Stands rail. Shay out in the centre. Sham Express is third. Reckless Abandon with over on the far side. Shay coming home strongly in the centre. It's Pearl Secret. Soul Power's also finishing off well. Shay with Soul Power on the near side. As runs good. Shay close between the two. Back in third place, Pearl Secret probably ahead of Jack Dexter. Then Reckless Abandon. He didn't quite make it home. Sham Express was about next across the line and Move in Time.
It's gone to a photo, but I think from looking at that, you see it on the line, Soul Power has won the King's Stand, maybe just from Shay in a very close finish. Pearl Secret came bang there, Reckless Abandon towards the streets.
He's not one that jumps off the page at you as an absolute freak. He just smallly on the quick, but he's got a bit of wet track form.
That's it, they're all in. They're ready. They're off. They get away. Hawkeye, the new Slade Power. That's it. They're all in. They're ready. They're off. They get away. Hawkeye, the new Slade Power, a bit slow into their strides. Gamoth and Gordon Lord Byron are faster away. Also, see Siren is up there with the grey Lethal Force being the overall leader towards the right. Replying Krypton Factor and Mincer in good position. Soul towards the left with Zanetto and Havelock in the pink jacket and Dandy Boy. Society Rock is in mid-division at this stage. Hawkeye the New is the back marker on the left. Slade Power on the right, the back marker as they come to one group. And Lethal Force, the grey leading. To Soul on the left in blue colours. Mincer yellow cap between them. Sea Siren is up there. Gordon Lord Byron towards the left, a red jacket. Krypton Factor and Replier next. Society Rock is full to the right. Slade Power with a white jacket, red sleeves coming there. Lethal Force, though, is kicked for home by Adam Kirby. Sea Siren is two into second place. Gordon Lord Byron behind that. Society Rock and Krypton Factor the next two. Lethal Force has always been in front. He's got 200 yards to go with Adam Kirby. He's tripping to the near side, but it's Lethal Force in front. Society Rock has moved into second, but that's the best he'll do. Lethal Force made on to Society Rock. Krypton Factor runs between Gordon Lord Byron running on Hawkeye the New.
Wow, Lethal Force has lived up to his name. He splits them in the Diamond Jubilee under Adam Kirby and Clyde Cox's grey colt. Has beaten a former winner, Society Rock, in the second. I think Krypton Factor got third, Jace. And he just confirmed 4-1 favourite, got going late on. He can get to Lethal Force. And Krypton Factor, the Bahraini Raider, fills the third spot there at 25-1. That's how they finished
in the program. But here's the concluding stages of the Golden Jubilee. Sea Sirens in the middle of the pack in the Ballydoyle colours, the striped hat, finishes 8th here. We'll go to Aidan O'Brien and we'll race on over the next few months.
Lethal Force is on
It hasn't been a great week for the Australian runners over there in Royal Ascot. We'll talk more about the Royal Ascot Carnival a little bit later in the program. But let's get to Eagle Farm. Alan Thompson.
Later on in the card, the 4,000-metre Group 1 Ascot Gold Cup was won by Estimate, owned by the Queen herself. And Mum was visibly jubilant.
Estimate and Simon on top two, trying to get on terms between those. Estimate the red sleeve jacket, Simon on the outside, racing the waterline. It's a happy and glorious day. Royal Ascot. Estimate has won the Gold Cup for the Queen.
2013 is over for another year. I suppose the lasting image from that we take away from Royal Ascot is Her Majesty the Queen cheering on her horse there, Estimate, the first reigning monarch to win the Ascot Gold Cup. And didn't she love it? She loves horses, loves racing, and she was just in her element there.
Great advertisement for racing. That was my highlight of the week. I love that, where she was just kicking it home, and Johnny Warren there's trying to. He was dying to give her a pat in the back, or he was whacking her on the arm here. And
I wonder if she had a few dollars on it.
Oh, look, I hope she did. I hope she did. She's got an enormous thrill out of that, and so she should. She loves her racing, and that's great scenes.
They say when she comes down to take breakfast of the morning, it's the Racing Post that's on the breakfast table waiting for her, not the Daily Mail or the Telegraph and all the woes of the world. She loves horse racing. It was great to see her smiling there the other night. Look, it's been a good carnival, but in the first racing, and she was just in her element there.
Great advertisement for racing. That was my highlight of the week. I love that, where she was just kicking it home, and Johnny Warren there's trying to. He was dying to give her a pat in the back, or he was whacking her on the arm here. And
I wonder if she had a few dollars on it.
Oh, look, I hope she did. I hope she did. She's got an enormous thrill out of that, and so she should. She loves her racing, and that's great scenes.
They say when she comes down to take breakfast of the morning, it's the Racing Post that's on the breakfast table waiting for her, not the Daily Mail or the Telegraph and all the woes of the world. She loves horse racing. It was great to see her smiling there the other night. Look, it's been a good carnival, but